Hey guys, I just wanted to start making a few discussion videos where I sit here and I talk and rant to the camera. Today's topic is something I'm very passionate about, which is improvement, or rather, why people don't improve. Have you felt stuck? Do you feel like you haven't been able to get any better in months, years? Well, then maybe I have a few words for you. Be honest with yourself and actually start putting in effort. Oh, it hurts. It's tough love right there, because that's exactly what I've needed to hear. I'm one of you guys. Constantly, throughout my 10-year OSU career, I have struggled to improve at this game. But I've still done it, and here's a few things that I found. There is no secret to improving. There's no magic method that'll just make you get better. There are no shortcuts. You actually have to put in the effort to get there. It's not going to happen immediately. It's not going to happen after a day or a week. It's going to take months. You can look at other people's profiles and think, oh, well, they had it so much easier. But you don't know the struggle that they went through as well. People like Emrek and Eterna are popular targets of this, but you might even do it whenever you look at your friend and you say, oh, well, they have so many less hours than me, but they're better. And to that I say, number one, how many hours have you spent in multi with friends just having fun or, just going for a score that isn't necessarily skill cap? Not all of your hours are towards improvement. And two, why are you looking at other people's profiles? You're not trying to get them to improve, you're trying to get yourself to improve. Start focusing on yourself. I think a lot of these people are looking for excuses why they can't improve rather than actually just putting in the effort. Age, well, there's been top players much older than you. Peripherals, well, there have been players who play on laptop keyboards with pillows as their mouse pad. Genetics, don't even get me started. That's going to be a separate video. What you need to do is just be honest with yourself and actually start trying. There's some people that don't want to admit that they don't want to help themselves. People who outwardly say, oh yeah, I want to improve, I want to get better, but they never actually want to take the steps to improve. Having some introspection and thinking about this is really the first step towards getting yourself there. Now, let me tell you about my story. Back in the ye olde times of 2015, I was a very different player. I could tap like 180 BPM, maybe 190, but 200, that was really hard. I couldn't really push myself in that way. Every time I tried, I would just get a C rank or I would just fail on the single taps or streams. So what I did was I took the BPMs that I was comfy at and I would just play them again and try and get better accuracy. And that's how I gained PP. By sticking to my comfort zone, I did improve, my finger control a little bit, but I never really got past that tapping and aiming barrier of speed. I would ask my friends for maps or advice, for a technique, like how to hold your fingers or like how to tap your keyboard to go faster. And they would give me as much as they could. They tried to help me out. They honestly did. But I don't think I really wanted to improve at that time. And it made me sad. I would just like mope and dope around. I'd be like, oh, I can't play 200 BPM. Until one day, I accidentally played a map called Catastrophe, which some of you may know. And I FC'd it without looking at the stats at all. And then afterwards I checked and what? It's 200 BPM and I just FC'd it? And that unlocked something for me. And I know that sounds like instant improvement, but it was a few different things. Number one, because I thought 200 BPM was impossible, my brain really just kept me from being able to do it. I mean, think about it subconsciously. If you're playing something you legitimately don't think you can do, are you really going to give it your all? Number two, not thinking about the stats is really what helped me out there. We get caught up with the numbers often, especially with like PP counts. I see a lot of people who think that, PP barriers are the hardest things to break. But think about this. What fundamentally is the difference between a map that's 295 PP and 305 PP? The jumps might be this much farther apart. The only reason why you think that's hard is because it has a number attached to it. If you can just reduce your interaction with all these numbers and stats, then you can see the map for what it really is and its true difficulty. And number three, I never actually tried to practice. I thought I tried to practice. Every few weeks I would play, 2 or 3 200 BPM maps just to see if I had it. I never did. I would just do terrible on them and I would think, oh, well, it's impossible. And I just kind of went in that cycle of play a 200 BPM map, do bad, oh, it's impossible, so I won't play any. And that really broke the cycle for me, was just playing that map. Of course, it's not like the hardest 200 BPM map, but it got my foot in the door. Another thing I struggled with at that time was high AR, at least AR10. I would see all my friends around me, they were able to read AR10, and I thought they could do it so effortlessly. But again, I would play a few AR10 maps, I would do bad, I couldn't keep up. I would ask my friends for advice on how to do it. And eventually I just came to the conclusion that, oh no, I guess my reaction time is just slower than the average human being and I'll never be able to read AR10. And I legitimately thought that. After months and months of this, I got tired of seeing everyone improve so much when I was just left behind. And I got angry. I got so angry that for a week straight, all I did was play hard rock. I did absolutely terrible at the start, but then I started doing a little bit better. And then I started FCing maps, and then my accuracy went up from 95 to 97 and then 98. And by the end of it, I pretty much could read AR10. It's the same sort of things happening there. Seeing the AR10 stat always just reinforced that for me. But then once I actually sat down and played more than just a few times and legitimately tried practicing, I improved at it. Now it might sound like two examples from a bygone era very long ago, but unfortunately I kind of never learned. The exact same thing happened to me later on with 220 BPM and then 240 BPM, and it is currently happening to me with like 250, 260 BPM. And the same thing happened with AR 10.3. That became the impossible one. And then AR 11 for me, which I have actually started practicing a little bit of AR 11, and I do have a few AR 11 FCs now. I keep constantly putting myself in this hole and then having to claw my way out of it. I think the biggest thing I can say here is do as I say, not as I do. Take my advice so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I constantly keep doing. And I think at the end of the day, once you're honest with yourself and you actually truly do want to improve and you have that flame deep inside you, that motivation to really want to get better, you will. But if you're just content with staying at your current skill level, maybe improving your accuracy, maybe setting the same plays, or just waiting for a new farm map to get ranked, then you're just going to stay there. Currently, what holds me back is really those expectations. I'm always expecting, a certain accuracy amount or a miscount or a combo. And when I don't meet that, I actually kind of get angry. I need to let that go because it's okay to do bad. It's okay. That's literally like the first step to improvement is you're bad at something, so then gradually you get better. Anyway, the final thing I want to say is what sets me apart from everyone else is that I never gave up. There have been plenty of opportunities throughout my entire OSU career where I could have just said, well, guess I just can't do it and I just never will be able to. And I did say that. But eventually I came around and I thought, you know what? If everyone else can do this, why can't I? I want to be able to do this and I need to make myself be able to do this. Whatever sort of skill set it is that you find awkward, weird, strange, just too hard, give yourself a shot. Really believe in yourself and really honestly try and practice it. Hopefully now you understand why I think a lot of people don't improve. It's time to get rid of those excuses that you always use for, I can't improve because blah, 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 blah. You can improve. And I honestly do think anyone can improve. And then you might say to yourself, like, sure I can improve, but I could never become someone like Emrek. To that I say, why not? Why can't you become like Emrek? Isn't that just saying that something's impossible again? The reason why top players are able to get where they are is because they don't think things like that are impossible. Why can't you be the next Emrek? I'll leave you with that. Feel free to comment below talking about this, or maybe even give me an idea for my next discussion video. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.